Hi, welcome back to ODE YouTube channel. Today we are here for the day 14 of the Inkvent Calendar by Diamine 2024 edition, and it's here. Let's see what is behind this door, window, something like that. Where is the little thing? It's there. With all this pattern, the windows they hide very well from the sight of someone that sees as bad as I do. Oh, and this one is hard to take out, and this one is Mint Twist, and it is a chameleon ink, and it has a shimmer which seems to be green, but sometimes shimmer is not easy to understand because we can see the shimmer there, but actually because it is all inside the color of the ink, this will contaminate to our eyes the real color of the shimmering. So we'll need to see these on paper to really check how it looks. So stay there and I'll be right back for the review. So let's see the Mint Twist. 1, 2, 3, and this one goes to glass of water. Close the bottle. It comes here, and then our knife will show us, no, this is a kind of color I don't really like that much, kind of bluish green, but I think the name told us a hint of what it would look like, and that's not the kind of color that I really enjoy, but that's what it is. So you can see here the light reflected on those ink puddles, and you can see some little particles shimmering through the wet page. So this is very wet as usual, but we'll see how this will look when it's dry. So I have to choose the pens to go with this ink, and I'll be right back for the continuation of the video. And here it is. The ink looks quite good. As you can see, it's kind of a greenish bluish thing with a cold shimmer. So, but at the same time it looks like almost coppery, and then it has almost two kinds of colors of the shimmer, and it is kind of compatible because it is a chameleon ink, so it is supposed to look like different things in different lightings. And so I think this one looks interesting. It's not my favorite shade of color, but that's my thing. But I think it's a quite nice ink if you like this kind of cool green-blue colors. So this Mint Twist, how does it compare with some other inks that I have in my collection? So let's take a look here, because I have a couple of things. And we will start with 2019 calendar, the blue peppermint. And because this is Mint Twist, this is peppermint, it is also same family of color, also with some shimmer, but this will be a turquoise more on the blue side, and this is clearly on the green side when compared with this. So interesting. Also a mint color, but not the same, obviously. Then we have more colors from other calendars. I have the Sub-Zero from day 18, 2021, and this is a blue one with shimmer and not the same at all. This is even more, let me put it here, it is even more turquoise than the mint. Then I have, maybe I don't have any more from any more calendars, but I have some other inks that I want to show you if it is useful for comparison. I have the Kaweco Paradise Blue, which has more green than the Sub-Zero, for example, but it is a different color. And I also have the Monte Grappa Turquoise, which is in the same family of the Kaweco, but much more on the blue side than this one. Then we have the Robert Oster Deep Sea, which has more green than this, for example, but it is a completely different color. We have the Pelican Edelstein Aquamarine, which is a darker color of, but also not the same. And I also have the Parker Quink Green ink, the modern one, which is green, but this green is more blue than that green. And I don't really have any color that is even close to that. So the closest one would be this Blue Peppermint from 2019, and it's not the same. Of course, I don't have, as I told you already, I didn't open the calendars from 2022 and 2023 yet, so I cannot have them to compare, but maybe now it doesn't make any sense to open those calendars, at least in video. There's no novelty about that. We'll see what I'll do with them. So now we'll go to this little thing. I always remember the chromatography, if you can call that. And what you have here is a line, a gray line there, which could be a line just of shimmer, but I think it is a gray line of a component of the color also, not only the shimmer that gets in there and it's all stuck. I think there is also some green because, also some gray residue of the ink, not just the shimmer, because I will show you that in a moment when I'll show you the water resistant test. And then all the color is washed away with light green and blue going up on the chromatography. So, for the writing samples, I chose 2 pens from the same brand. And last video I had 1 pen from this brand, so I tried to mix the pens, but I tried to find different nib sizes, or at least nibs of the same size but in brands that perform differently. And I try to have good variation of stuff, diversity, but I think I'm going too much for the same brand. So today I chose the Lamy All-Star Pacific Blue, which is a beautiful ink, beautiful pen. It was sent to me many years ago some years ago by Fontoplumo for review, and here it is. It has a fine nib and has all the Lamy Safari, Vista and All-Star. It is a cartridge converter pen. So I just filled the cartridge with some of this ink. Let me just twist it to have the Lamy part facing up. The other pen that I chose is a vintage, because it is really an older version because it is a slim version of the Lamy CP1, which is a model that I really like. It is the CP1 50, you can see there. This is still from West Germany, and it has a oblique nib. I know I used already a pen similar to this one. It was in silver, also with an oblique nib. This nib is gold. I think it's written somewhere, or is it not? Yes, there are the numbers of the gold content, and it has an oblique nib. And let me just check my list here. I used a similar pen, the one made of silver, CP1 made of silver, with also an oblique nib. In the Baltic Breeze. Which day was that? I don't know. Maybe it was day 1? I think so. So I think this was the color for day 1. Sorry about that, I don't have that organized in that way. I just have a list of the pens that I have with ink, and now I really need to do that because lots of pens have ink inside because of this Inkvent Calendar. So also a cartridge converter pen, very slim pen. You can see it is almost the same width as the cartridge. So these are the two pens that I chose because they have really different lines. And let's see what we have here on paper. So the three usual papers that we have, let me just bring here also the thing to be close to us. So it is kind of a faint ink in a way when you use fine nibs, but it's perfectly readable. It has lots of shading, lots of color variation, and you can see it has a little bit of shimmer, but you don't see much there, and you can see much more when you look at the writing with the Lamy CP1. Can see just a little shimmer with the Lamy All Star, and with Lamy CP1 a lot of shimmer because there's lots of ink on paper, and you can see lots of shading also. On the other side, no bleed through, even with a wet oblique nib, so quite amazing ink. On Oxford paper, you'll see, I'm not sure if you will see, I can see some shimmer there, some shimmer on this, but on the Lamy CP1, but the shimmer is really more visible in this one, and the ink looks better and darker on the moleskin paper, because maybe it's because it's more absorbent, maybe because it's not white from the start, maybe it's that I like it much more on this paper than on that Oxford paper, which is a better quality paper overall. No bleed through on the back. And when we talk about the Navigator copy paper, which is a paper that is usually more absorbent, more like the moleskin, although this is even worse because there is some bleed through, the ink performs well, but I usually have some trouble to find the shimmer, but you can see some there, at least with Lamy CP1, with the Lamy All Star, not so much, but there you can see some shimmer. So, and a little bit of shading, but not that much. The shading is better here. So it is an interesting color. Although it looks like green. In overall assessment of this ink, when you look at the paper, it looks like green with a little shimmer. So is that so outstanding? No, it isn't, in my opinion. It depends maybe on the kind of paper and kind of pen that you're using, but it's not outstanding, but it's quite a good color of ink. I think it's nice to use. The swatch is spectacular. The writing sample is fine, but not that spectacular, even with a very spectacular nib. And now let's go for the final paper, the Rhodia dot pad, and what we have here is the drying time, and you can see around 10 to 15 seconds it dries completely, so it's good, it doesn't bleed through, it does nothing, it's very good. And about the, let me pick a pen here, about here you can see that where the drops of water were put on paper, the color disappeared, but there is a gray line going on, and it's not the shimmer. And I can tell you that because first, here the line is much thicker than the shimmer line. When I make these writing samples, I put some drops of water. I let them be there, but the paper doesn't soak them completely, and I don't wait until the paper soaks that water completely. So after some time, I just clean it. What happens is that the shimmer particles are in suspension. When I put the drop of water, they come up and stay in suspension, which doesn't happen when I make the chromatography. When I put them here, they stay on the bottom, and because the paper is very absorbent, they don't go up. Here they are lifted into the droplet of water, and when I clean them, they disappear. So the gray line that you can see is a gray component of the ink, the same that you see here beneath all the shimmer. And so there is a little part that can provide some readability of what you written there, but it's not water resistant, and I don't think you should rely on that to be able to read what is there. So this is what I had to show you. Let me just write the phrase about the fox. So the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. And let me try with this one, the Lamy CP1 with oblique nib, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. And so you see much more shading with the CP1 with oblique nib, and you can see the shimmer there. So a nice ink, it's very interesting. I don't think it has a huge impact. There are more spectacular inks before, but this is quite nice. So this is all I had to show you today. I want to thank you, Appelboom, for sending me the calendar, and I want to thank you all for watching my videos. And I wish that we'll meet again tomorrow for another ink review. So see you tomorrow. Bye.